Hello again, Lee here, and this is PublicLee speaking, and today I'll be reviewing a favorite video game of mine, Sins of a Solar Empire. Just a quick word first, I love all media. I watch, read, play, and listen to all that I can, so the format of this blog is going to be like so. First, I'll review a TV show, like Kitchen Nightmares or Glee, then a video game, followed by a book, after which a movie, and finally some non-media related issue I want to talk about, from Keynesian economics and the evolution of oppressed social groups to why, at least in my opinion, things like Muffin Top exist. So those of you expecting another witty review of a TV show will have to wait a bit. So, back to the review. Sins of a Solar Empire is a space based RTS, or real time strategy. This game has you control one of three groups, all vying for control of a few solar systems. In this game, you start off with a home world and one facility in orbit that builds your ships. Each planet leads to a couple of other planets, and so on and so forth, to make a larger web. Each planet only accessible by those immediately around it. You can build ships to colonize other planets, but those planets are always defended, either by other players, artificial intelligences, or ships that have no forces outside of the planet they defend. Because of this, you need to build up your own fleet to take over other planets while defending your own planets from invasion. This sounds simple, but it is not. The first of the three factions that make up the game are the TEC, who are uber capitalists. They're the stereotypical space forces from sci fi stories, and their ships and structures are brown, boxy, and look like they're built for utility and cheapness. Their units are cheap, but they're not weak, and the TEC have the strongest economy in the game. They're a faction that's good for all ranges of players. Then you have the Advent, psychics who were exiled millennia ago and are back for revenge. They have the strongest culture and military, but anything that does not involve overpowering your enemy or converting them to your side is not the Advent's forte. Their units are light blue and have a graceful beauty that is night to this TEC's utility day. They're easy to learn, but hard to master. Best for those players who make use of the make a bunch of forces and attack strategy, but also those who can work with the subtleties of their special abilities and turn them to their advantage. Lastly are the Visari, who are aliens running from a greater unknown evil that never really shows up in the game. They're odd, to say the least, very gimmicky, but if one understands the gimmicks and can use them in concert, then they gain a significant advantage over their fellow players in strength and maneuverability. They have a black and red coloration with a biological, almost skeletal structure to their ships. The Visari are hard to play, but played right are almost impossible to defeat. Just a quick note on story, there really isn't much of one. In essence, the TEC were an industrial society where corporations took over and now run things. They found psychics doing really weird things on other planets, so the group that would become the Advent was exiled from TEC space. 1,000 years have passed, and now the Advent are back for revenge. The Vasari are a race of aliens who fought a mysterious enemy and lost badly. The crew of the only ship that fought this enemy and survived are batshit insane, so the Vasari cut and ran, bumping into the TEC space in their flight. The name of the game comes from the fact that all of the factions have committed their own sins. The TEC are intolerant xenophobes, the Advent have a totalitarian convert or die thing going on, and the Vasari are just kind of evil, enslaving planets as they go. There isn't really much of a story, but this is not a game you play for story. One of the things that makes this game unique is the fact that one can easily go from a wide overview of the planet and zoom right into the action. Also, in addition to all the normal ships that you can build, there are capital ships, which are powerful, house fighter squadrons, and have special abilities. The first of these ships is free, but after that they're fairly costly. As the ships fight, they level up, gaining more power, health, squadrons, and abilities, kinda like a role playing game, but only for them. There's also a culture system, a system for managing maximum ships versus upkeep costs, pirates who attack different factions for bounties, and several other systems that all work together into an overarching strategy. However, be warned that this is not a game one can beat quickly. Even the smallest maps require a time investment of several hours, and the largest maps take days to win without teammates to divvy up the territories on multiple fronts. I rarely finish a game in one sitting, and I usually just load my most recent save, play for an hour or two, and then sign off, slowly creeping towards domination or defeat with every session. Then there are the expansions. There's two of them for $10 a pop called Entrenchment and Diplomacy, respectively. Entrenchment improves defenses and allows the construction of star bases. These things are like the Death Star, Sam's massive planet destroying laser. You can only have one per system, and they cannot move so as not to make the game just a slugfest between star bases. They have 8 upgrade slots where you can increase armor, weapons, hangars for squadrons, facilities for trade ships or ship construction, and faction specific abilities. However, the upgrades come in increments, so you might spend resources resources on 4 upgrade slots of armor to make your base nigh indestructible, but then you only have 4 slots left at a possible 10 to choose how to continue to upgrade the rest of your base. These are particularly useful for there are some systems where there's nothing but space dust, or not even that. These systems are normally holes in your defenses or useless spaces, which can become heavily fortified strongholds or centers for production and trade where there would normally just be emptiness. These things are incredible sinks for your resources, but invaluable if used in the right circumstances. The diplomacy expansion lets you win, well, a diplomatic victory by making peace with your enemies and by making alliances literally make your troops stronger in ways other than just working in cooperation with each other. They allow you to make pacts with teammates that increase troops' weapons, armors, and maximum ships, and which encourage players to team up with each other instead of going it alone in a free for all situation. This leads to shorter but much more fulfilling games. The only true flaw that I can find in this game, other than the almost ridiculous time investment, is that it's a bit too comprehensive. I know it's kind of a nitpick, as if neither side uses a system, the game doesn't penalize you for it, but there are systems upon systems with so many game mechanics that I simply don't care sometimes. I could play a numbers game, making just the right fleet combinations, moving in concert to crush my enemies in a stunning display of tactical prowess, or I could just build a shit ton of carriers and send a frankly ridiculous number of fighters and bomber squadrons to crush my enemies before they can even touch my main fleet. You can probably still find this game in large retail stores for about 20 bucks, 30 bucks if you get both expansions. Any more and you're getting ripped off. Or online from a game download service called Impulse, which is the online store that the game's website links you to. So you can get it as an impulse buy. See, it's fun. Yeah. Anyways, so if controlling fleets, building an empire, and doing so in a manner that combines the excitement of close space battles and the slow satisfaction of outmaneuvering, outplanning, and outthinking your opponent is for you, then I heartily recommend you go pick up this game. If you're looking for a casual game that's mildly entertaining, well, I'll have some other suggestions later, but this game is not casual. Bit slow at times, but oh god, is this game not mindless. Oh, also, if you run Windows XP, then you can get a theme which makes your computer look pretty epic. Just saying. Next episode, I'll finally get to the Randian classic, Atlas Shrugged, and touch on deeper topics once again. This is Publicly Speaking, signing off.